Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Put on the slideshow. Sorry, put on the live stream. Yes, yes.
Can you hear me?
Check 1 2.
Sound check 1 2. Can you hear me?
The audio coming up in the auditorium. Do we have anybody?
Someone needs to be in the auditorium.
Mic off, mic off, mic off, mic off.
Anthony,
Yes.
do you want challenge?
Is my mic off? Brandon, turn my mic off.
We have to cancel. Do you want live stream to be played in the?
Yes, in the. Okay. Is the mic on?
Yes.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Is the microphones coming into the auditorium? I'm heading back now to see. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Please someone let me know if the audio is coming up in the auditorium. Thank you. Mic off, mic off. Check. Is the audio coming up in the auditorium? Did you hear? Or you weren't listening? You weren't listening. Go ahead. Mic off.
Can you readjust it?
Thank you so much for coming.
Guys, thank you for coming out. This is a very exciting day. I am very happy to be with you. And how nice is it to be out live, right? Clap it up for that. Clap it up for not being virtual, right? We're here, we're seeing each other. This is lovely. I don't know, guys. I think we could agree that we all had a weird couple of years, right? I think it's been a little strange. I don't know. Guys, I knew it wasn't going to be my year right before the pandemic because I fell down 20 steps of stairs. I know. I was both terrified and bored. I was like, how many times am I going to keep hitting my head until this just ends already? I was on a roll. If I can get a drum roll from this row right here. Oh, we got the tables. Beautiful. Thank you. I'll get a pump from everybody else. Guys, speaking of rolls, I almost died just trying to get a food delivery. So, yeah, I almost died over a sandwich. I know. And my husband, who happens to be Italian-American, was like, imagine you would have died over a sandwich on Christmas Eve. And I mean, your tombstone would have had to say, here lies Lana Siebel. She died the way she lived, chasing an Italian hero. Do you guys see what I had to put up with during the pandemic? Does everybody see? I know, I'm sure you were stuck with your families. I don't know. I was with my 10-year-old son and my husband. I don't know if any of you guys watch the show Sunny in Philadelphia. Do we have any Sunny in Philadelphia? All right, so this joke is just for them, all right? Guys, my life became like that show. I was the only female character, right? Deandra, right? Every time I'd walk into the living room, my husband and son, they'd be like, boo, you're ruining our vibe. My husband would be like those three guys, and my son definitely like the Danny DeVito character because he's short and he throws up all the time. So that, guys, I'm happy to be with you. I actually grew up in Brooklyn. Anyone else? Anyone else from Brooklyn? All right. I know. I like how you guys are like, yeah, we survived. We're not even gonna. We're tired of clapping, right? We made it. Thank you for being here. Yeah, it's something else growing up in Brooklyn. But yeah, I listen to a lot of Jay-Z. I don't know if we have any Jay-Z fans, right? Yes. All right. I love you guys are so polite. I love how everyone's raising their hands. Yeah. But yeah, big fan of Jay-Z, and I feel like Jay-Z's been getting really relatable lately. Have you guys noticed? He's got this whole song where he's just complaining about how he should have bought cheaper real estate in Brooklyn 20 years ago. So I love that Jay-Z's becoming an old Jewish man. All right? By the way, I'm Jewish, so yeah. He's like, I could have bought a place in Dumbo before it was Dumbo for $2 million. That same building today is worth over $25 million. How do you think I feel? Dumbo. Okay, we're going to participate. Are you guys ready to play a game? Are you guys ready? All right, who said this? Jay-Z or an old Jewish man? Okay. You want to know what's better than throwing away all your money at the strip club? Credit. What do you think? Old Jewish man? Jewish man? Anybody for Jay-Z? Jay-Z. All right, it was Jay-Z. You were right. But yeah, I was like, is that my dad? Just trying to give some solid financial advice? I don't know. It's nice to go out, right? It's nice to go. I don't know if any of you guys have been going out lately. I just went to, you have, good. I just went to a Lil Baby concert. You guys know who Lil Baby, the rapper? Yes? Yeah, really good. I love that you guys are so nice. It's really beautiful crowd. But yeah, I love the Lil Baby. And my husband and I, right, we're both getting older, right? And my husband's a stocky Italian-American guy. I'm a stocky Ukrainian Jewish lady. So guys, yeah, it just looked like two FBI agents dancing a Lil Baby concert. We're like, we're not FBI agents, nothing to see here, just having a good time. A Lil Baby concert. I don't know why I did the robot the whole time. So yeah, I actually am from Ukraine. Yeah, I know, lots going on. It's crazy. Yes, I see some eyebrows. I made it from. I actually came over when I was 7, so I personally did nothing, but I appreciate everybody's support here. I do. And it is amazing, right? It is amazing to see President Zelensky being so brave, right? So for me, it is like watching the movie Inglourious Basterds Ukraine edition. I think that's what we're seeing. I don't know, guys. I'm an older millennial, and I don't know. You guys keep going to college, keep learning, because I got my degree. But lately, I don't know. I felt like I was going to get even smarter, right? I think I'm going to pursue more degrees because I thought you come with all this wisdom when you get older. Not the case, all right? Half the day, I'm just looking at a door trying to figure out, is it push or pull? All right? Yesterday, I caught myself reading. I'm like, push, pull. I'm like, what am I doing with my day, right? Because I don't want to look stupid. And then I'm out with my 10-year-old, and a lot of times he pushes instead of pulls. I'm like, look at this idiot. He really doesn't know what he's doing. Yeah, I don't know. Anybody here into jazz music? Jazz? All right. Love it. We got jazz. Older millennials. We're into jazz music, guys. That's what happens. You guys will see. When you get older, you start to become more into jazz music, and I get why when we get older, we get so into jazz music. Because I don't know if you guys knew. Did you guys know that when you put on jazz music, it hides the sound of your own farts? Did you guys? So you guys let it out. You could laugh, yeah. So it'll be like, is that a clarinet solo or is that Lana? All right, I just shit my pants. Good night, everybody. That's no. We're back. All right, we loosened up. We loosened up. Okay. Oh, by the way, guys, I hope you all follow me on Instagram. It's at Lana Siebel, Siebel. Because, guys, I don't know if you knew this. I'm an influencer. That's right. Yep. My husband, he's deeply depressed. I influenced that. All right. Thank you. Thank you, guys. You've been fun. All right, guys, now it's your turn to participate. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? Let's get the energy going. Let's clap it up now. No raising hands. Clap it, clap it, clap it. All right. So what we need to do now is, all right, we need to help out the camera crew, and we need to take care of a little bit of business. The TV crew needs the sounds of your clapping and you guys looking enthusiastic. So are you guys ready? You are going to be on camera, clapping, excited. So let's take a deep breath. Are you guys ready to clap? Clap it up. All right. So first clap, we're going to do a couple of rounds. So the first clap is we're going to do a simple round of applause for St. Francis. And 3, 2, 1. You guys are professional. That was actually really, really good. But I know you guys could do even better, right? I know you can get it even louder. So now the next clap is we're going to get a lot louder, get your energy going. Guys, keep it going now for St. Francis College and action! You guys are the best. That's perfect. All right, now we just need like a little quiet, polite golf club version clap. So here we go. And go. Okay, you guys done this before. This is perfect. That's it. That's exactly. All right, so since you guys are doing so great, we're just going to need 2 more round of applause. So now we're just going to get this middle section, okay? We're going to really get our enthusiasm going, all right? So we're going to get a real excitement for the summer break coming up. Everybody, and middle section, go. All right. Okay, guys. And now we need our last clap. Are you guys ready? Okay. Give it your very all, your excitement. Pretend it's Friday, end of the week. Beautiful weather. We're going to keep it clapping now. Here we go, everybody. And 3, 2, 1, action. All right. Camera crew, are we good? All right, they're very happy. Guys, I'm very happy. Guys, thank you so much for coming out. We're going to have a great time. Yeah, keep that laughter going when they make the jokes. Yes, that's what we needed. I needed you there in the beginning, but keep going now. We got it warmed up. Love you guys. Guys, I love you all. I'm so happy to be here. Are you guys ready for a great show? Yes, I know. We're all clapped out. So you guys did perfect on that. Guys, now keep it going for the program. Thank you so much. All right, guys. Enjoy.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to St. Francis College. I'm so thrilled to see so many people here, familiar faces, new faces too. And give another round of applause to Alana Siebel for coming and getting you guys to clap and waking you up. I know, it's Monday. It's going to be Monday all day. So I am Dr. Augusta Palmer. I am the chair of St. Francis College's Media and Communication Department. And we have an amazing program coming up today. We're going to start with our inaugural First Take Talk. So it's the first of a series. And I think some of our special guests that'll be appearing later in the program are going to come back and do First Take Talks in the next academic year. So I think that's something to look forward to. But right now, our very first one is going to be with Mitch Jacobson, who designed our TV studio. And you're going to hear more about him from Kit Fitzgerald, and with Professor Kit Fitzgerald, who teaches TV studio at the college. So let me give you a little bit of background on Kit, because she is really a woman of many talents. She is an educator, director, and artist whose media career spans the territory of new media, television, and video work. As a director in the DGA, the Directors Guild of America, Kit has created documentaries on art and culture. She also served as lead producer and director for Bloomberg Business News, where she redesigned their whole TV studio. I think that was probably a little bit bigger of a redesign project than she was involved here at the college, but she really has been part of making our whole TV studio possible. And Kit was an artist in residence at WNET, that's Channel 13, here in New York, at their TV laboratory. Her video art is in the collection of major museums like the Museum of Modern Art and the Whitney Museum. And she directs music video and still creates video art and live performance and projection of video art for music, theater, and opera at renowned venues around the world and right here at home at Lincoln Center and places like that. She's received commissions from the Tokyo Broadcasting System and Sony Japan. And she's received awards from the Rockefeller Foundation, the National Endowment for the Arts, and the New York State Council on the Arts, NYSCA. Before joining us at St. Francis this fall, Kit served as professor and chair of the Department of New Media at Concordia College. And here at St. Francis, as I said before, she teaches studio production, digital media production, and directing. So without further ado, I'd like you to give a big hand to Kit Fitzgerald. Kit, come on out.
Thank you, Dr. Palmer, and welcome, everybody. Welcome to First Take. This is the show where we bring you the brightest minds in the entertainment industry. Today, we have a renowned, multi-talented guest. He's that rare combination of creative filmmaker and technical engineer. And he has credits that span over 4 decades: producer, director, editor of concerts, documentaries, and TV specials. And he's worked with some of the biggest names in music, sports, and movies. He's also the author of the acclaimed textbook, Mastering Multicam Techniques, from Pre-Production to Editing and Deliverables, published by Focal Press. As an educator and mentor, he's helped shape the future of the industry. He's presented at numerous industry conferences and events, including a keynote for the National Association of Broadcasters. In addition to running his own production company, Category 5 Studios in New York City, he is currently a Franciscan Fellow here at St. Francis in our own Department of Media and Communication. And he designed and built our state-of-the-art TV studio and control room that we are using today for this inaugural live stream event. So please join me in welcoming First Take's inaugural guest to discuss the business of being creative, the one and the only Mitch Jacobson.
Thank you. Hi,
Welcome, Mitch.
thanks for having me.
My pleasure, our pleasure. Well, as we've heard of it, your career has been super exciting and illustrious. You have been at the fore of technological developments and different forms of entertainment for decades. Can you tell us a little about your background and how you got started?
Sure. It's been a long time ago. I got started in kindergarten, actually. My first experience in TV was a trip to WGN TV studios in Chicago, Illinois, where I got to see the Bozo the Clown show at 5 years old.
Yay.
I'll never forget going into that studio because it had a profound effect on me. My mom had basically gotten tickets, and in Chicago, the Bozo the Clown show was big time, right? And if you wanted to take your kid to this show, you had to get tickets 5 years in advance. So I started doing the math a little bit. I was like, she must have had given birth to me, handed me over to my dad, got in a cab, and signed me up for the show. Because at 5, I went to it. And when I saw that TV studio, I knew there was something magical about it. And it wasn't long after that, I guess my mom and dad had talked to my grandfather, and he ended up giving me his hand-me-down 8mm camera. And I started making home movies with my brother. And that led to a really fun hobby that eventually became a career.
Beautiful, beautiful. And then, but how did you take it from this spark that was ignited as a child into the beginning of a career? What was a first step there?
Well, the first step was making the home movies and getting accustomed to the equipment. That kind of led to still cameras and shooting. I started working for like the school newspaper. I covered the music beat because I was into music, still am. And right around that time, my grandmother gave me a guitar, so I was trying to learn guitar and take pictures. And then, cut to my high school, probably right around 1981, MTV came on the air. And that kind of put it together for me because that was cameras and music and TV, and I was like, whoa. So I kind of ditched the film camera and the still camera and tried to get a video camera, which my my father and mother co-signed a loan for me, and I got to buy this camera, and I told them I'd pay it back. Like, I only have to shoot one wedding a month, to make the payment. And I did that. I didn't actually have to shoot weddings, but I started getting jobs from that. And that led into having my own production company.
And at that time, of course, things cost a lot more. Now you could do all of that on an iPhone. We're all walking around with 4K cameras in our pocket. But you have to understand that this is a major investment to make at that time.
Right. Back then, nobody had cameras themselves, really. You either had to work for a TV studio or you had to be well off to afford one as a hobby.
Yeah, or start to develop relationships with studios so that you could do that work.
Right.
And then you jumped into editing. Is that right?
Yeah, I did. I spent like probably 12 or 13 years in live television. Like, I started as a PA. I started getting work for ESPN and CBS doing football games at the stadium on the big trucks.
How fun was that?
I was like the guy running the cables and in the end zone, kind of following the camera guys around and learning the craft. And it took about 10 years, but I worked my way up to producer, director, editor for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and their live football games. So
that
was
some
like
of the most
a pretty
exciting
cool
stuff.
thing. Yeah, but my heart was always in music. So I tried to pivot out of that, but doing the live sports and things was fun for a while. But when, I guess it was 1994, the Avid Media Composer was introduced, and this was the first digital nonlinear editing system. And that was big. I was always a shooter guy. Like, I wanted to travel the world. I wanted to go to the places where the action was, and that's a camera, right? Because you have a camera and you just need a place to stand and shoot the world, and that was really exciting. But I was always into like tech and the computers and stuff, and when the computer editing came around, I started dabbling with that, and it was more exciting than shooting, because I had done that for a while, and I realized that an editor gets to tell the story for the very last time before it's delivered. Like a cameraman, we would shoot the footage and we would hand it off to a director or producer, and they would edit it, and you're pretty much out of it by then. But an editor gets to really be involved in the storytelling and the final product. So I really dove into editing big time. And then I started that phase, which was about another 12 years working in, I moved to New York. I started working at MTV, which was my dream when I was a kid. And the editing was amazing because I locked in with this maverick producer, director guy, Mark Hafele, who was doing concert films for like Paul McCartney and Aerosmith and U2 and all these huge acts. And I had worked for him in Florida as an editor on a special event at a cruise ship launch or something. And he told me, he said, if you ever come to New York, you let me know and I'll hook you up. And I didn't really think much of it at the time, but when I did come to New York, the first guy I called was Mark Hafele. And I was like, hey, what's going on? He's like, oh, man, you've got impeccable timing. I was like, what? He goes, I need an editor. I was like, really? And I hung up the phone before he finished talking. I got on the train. I was like, I'm in. I went down there, and sure enough, I got the gig. But the funny part of it was actually my first gig doing big concerts was with Aerosmith. That was the show that I got hired for. And the funny thing about it was that they were shooting the concert in Florida in my old stomping grounds. So I got to like hire my old crew guys back. This was like 2 months after I moved to New York. So these guys, my friends in Florida, I'm like, what the heck? You're coming down here as the New York guy already doing Aerosmith?
Timing is everything.
Like, whoa, man, this is it, And after you do one or two shows like that, then you get known for it and more follow.
That's amazing. That's incredible. And in fact, I read that the Motion Picture Editors Guild named you a concert master. So you were doing a lot of big concerts. So what are some Aerosmith?
Yeah.
What did you follow that up with?
I did 4 or 5 projects for Paul McCartney, and I did the Newport Jazz Festival. I work for PBS doing Great Performances series, which is mostly opera. We did a lot of Bocelli shows with them. Keith Urban, country music artist who I love, he's an amazing guitar player. And so a variety of different genres, but all like these major like 24 camera shoots and, you know, like crazy budgets and timetables and traveling.
And were you directing these?
No, I was the editor for these.
Mhm.
I got producer credit on McCartney and Aerosmith because I went down and on the tour to shoot behind the scenes interviews, organize all the footage, bring it up to New York for editing, and then I did the editing with a partner, Zoran, who is actually an Emmy Award-winning editor, and so we double-teamed those things. Yeah.
Brilliant. And then you've gotten into some big projects that you have coming up you've gone beyond the music and concerts, or incorporating the music concerts, and expanded into new technological realms.
Yeah. So I started diving back into live stream production, which is kind of a throwback to my original live sports days, right?
Yeah.
So when live stream started coming around about 10 years ago, it was just peeking its head up. I was tinkering with that in the background during all the editing, just kind of playing with the toys. And that became very interesting to me. I was very curious about doing, being able to control my own event and doing all of it myself online. And so I started getting into live streaming, and I basically pivoted at that point to just directing live stream events.
So you were at the very beginning of kind of the real blossoming of live stream.
Yeah.
Which is sort of what I'm hearing as you're talking about your work. You're always sort of at the cutting edge of a new form. That is sort of at base of it is, in love with the process, but also so curious and able with new technologies and giving them shape and form.
Yeah, I mean, curiosity is basically the key word there, because I'm just curious. I'm just like, oh, this is kind of cool, and I'm interested in that. And then I start researching it and getting some gear, getting my hands on gear and just playing with it and figuring out how it works, and then putting it together with other gear and then seeing where the opportunities are.
Yeah. And because the great thing about working in media is that it's constantly changing. Our tools keep changing.
Right.
The language keeps changing. The capabilities, the way that we work today is very different from when it was when you started. So if you're curious about it, it's exciting about like what is inherent in this now that I can realize that I can really work with. And you're constantly moving that forward.
Well, there's a lot of geniuses out there developing all this technology, and they're throwing it out there for us to have. So really, it's just a matter of like seeing what you're interested in and then following through with it. Now there's even a whole nother level of technology that's come up with, AI and Unreal Engine, right? Camera tracking, facial recognition, machine learning, augmented reality. I mean, all this stuff is all like brand new in the last couple of years. Yeah. So those are like the new toys, the new frontier.
Yeah, and you're working to shape them. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like when you have a foundation of your skill set or your technology, you can just keep building on that.
Yeah.
Because all the same stuff I've been using since the sandbox is like cameras and whatnot. That's all very relevant now. We're still using cameras, of course, but now we have great ones in our pocket. I used to have to wind mine up. It was like a whole different thing. And now building on top of all of that is like all this new tech, which is amazing, and it's like connected
Yeah.
to other computers over virtual networks, and I mean the possibilities are endless now.
And the tech is just a tool to bring out your creativity and your communication. So what about, talk a little about your creative process, could you?
Sure. I mean, creativity is really, I guess, the essence of the whole storytelling process. The tech is the tool that, creates the actual content that's delivered, but it all comes down to the story, right? So, I mean, that really hasn't changed. I mean, I guess cavemen stood on rocks and told stories. They didn't need cameras for that, and we're still telling stories. My process is I like to make my space safe.
Mm.
And I'm not talking about like safe from gunplay or anything like that. I'm talking about a safe place to dream, like to think and be able to flow, come up with ideas, and not be worried about if they're good or bad, if they're going to be accepted or whatever. It's like a safe place to think and dream. And then, from there, it's like that's kind of like using the right side of your brain, and you're all, just whatever goes. But then you have to go back and refine it.
Mm-hmm.
Like those ideas have to be organized or shuffled around, or there's experimentation. Failing is big. Like you can't be afraid to fail. You try stuff, it doesn't work, you move on. Who was it? Somebody said, fail fast and fail often.
Yeah.
Because that's one step closer to success, right? So it's like keep working it until, it's kind of like the St. Francis motto I see when I walk in here every day. It's like, dream, serve, achieve. Right?
Mm-hmm.
The dreaming is the first part. That's where you're coming up with all the creative ideas and working it out. The serving part is where you start to work on the idea. You got to show up. You got to do the work. And achieving is by finishing it, completing the task, and getting it out there. And then that's, I guess, the key to it all.
Yeah. And staying open in the moment to new ideas.
Yeah. Like part of being creative is just being aware. Like if you can get to a place where you're just aware of everything around you, it's kind of hokey sounding a little bit, but it's like the vibrations of the earth or like the tempo of the universe. It's like, it's all out there, and it's probably all been done before, but it's like if you can kind of tune into that and like pull it in, then it's like you change that to be your own from your point of view in that time of the world. Like when we're in this period of, it's totally different now than it was, say, in the 60s, the Summer of Love, Woodstock, Vietnam. I mean, we're not in that time period anymore. We're in a whole new time period. So like when we adapt our ideas to the time that we're in from our point of view, that becomes the art. But like really only when you throw it back out for everyone else to see. That's why you have to achieve. You have to finish it and get it out there for it to really be art. And so what I do is like I try to constantly just kind of get inspiration from things around me, try to feel the vibe of things, architecture, colors, things on the way to the train, sound, smells, all the senses. I really get into that, when I'm thinking about it. I'll like, I would just, oh, wow, look at that. And then you kind of file it away like you could use it somewhere else some other time. I was working on a show with Paul McCartney, and he told me that those ideas have already all been done. They're out there in a treasure chest, and you just have to channel them, that we're just conduits of that. And that he said he doesn't write songs. The songs are already written. He flows. He's the messenger. I don't believe him, but but it sounds kind of right in a way, because you might have an idea, for instance, and somebody else might have that same idea, and you're totally disconnected from them, and your idea is great, and for some reason maybe it doesn't happen, but then in a different time and space, the other person who had the same idea might be successful with it.
But it would never come out the same way from two different people, because
Right.
it's all in the individual execution.
Yeah, it's, from what I understand, the creativity doesn't really come from within us. It comes from outside of us, but we channel it in our own way,
Mhm.
and that's what makes it unique.
Well, we're talking about the business of being creative.
Oh, yeah.
And you're just a genius at the both of them. So let's talk a little bit about how you managed to be an entrepreneur while creating all this work, working at the cutting edge of technology, collaborating with so many interesting people on huge scales and new technology, but you run a business. So when did you first realize you needed to start a business, and how does that work for you?
When I needed a camera and I needed money, and I went to the bank and they wouldn't give it to me. I was on my own. I went to the bank on my own trying to get the camera package, and they were like, no, you need a co-signer. So I begged my parents to do it. Of course, they were supportive. They didn't have to give me the money. They just had to sign it, and then I just had to make all the payments. So it worked out, but I realized I had to be serious about it to pay it off, or I'd be in trouble. So that's when I started the business. And my brother joined me, and we made a really nice business out of it. He's still in the business as a producer and engineer in Florida, doing great. And kind of having that support system was helpful. You know, we made a lot of shows when we worked the camera and we made money, so we had to keep track of it. And then there's the banking side of it, insurance, taxes, all that stuff that you have to do to, you know, run a business. And I just kind of learned on the fly, you know.
I mean, I don't know if you all understand how unique this combination of creativity and sharp business acumen is. So it's great.
It's usually two people. It's like, you know, there's a creative person and there's a business person. They make a great team. They're partners. One guy handles all the business. The other guy makes the product. You know, and it kind of is like that in the real world too. There's the people that make things, and then there are people that buy and sell things.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that business people aren't creative, right? Everybody's creative. Everybody has that creativity. It might not be with cameras and, you know, painting or whatever. It could just be, you know, you're creative about the way you design your furniture in your room, or the way you organize your spice rack. I mean, that's creative too. The path you take home, we're all creative. It's just that some people are better at business and some people are better at creativity. So usually it's a combination of two, right?
Yeah.
Trying to do it both is possible, but it's really hard.
Yeah.
It takes hours and hours.
Well, how do you find you apportion your time between business and creativity and new projects? And
I like to lean towards the artistic side of the industry, but I have to take care of business. So you do it in like pockets of time. So like I always dedicate early Sunday evening to the end of the day, as long as that is, for all the bookkeeping, accounting, and other types of paperwork. I just put it in an inbox and I leave it till Sunday, and then I bang it all out then. And then if there's time in between jobs that, you know, somebody needs a quote or some paperwork needs to be done for a run of show or whatever, Zoom calls, all that stuff is just whenever I can fit it into a schedule. Yeah.
well, what's fascinating is that you see it part of all of a thing. It's all together a part of what you do, and that you're not saying, "Oh, the business is the boring part." The business is as essential as the creativity.
Business could be
in
creative too,
Yeah.
if that's what you're into.
Yeah.
Like the way you do your business and work spreadsheets can even be creative. I mean, it's so important because it all boils down to, if you're doing this for art, for yourself, then that's great. If you're, you know, if you don't need the money and maybe you're supported by a donor or some kind of grant, or you can do whatever you want. But there's nothing wrong with being an artist that serves other people for their projects.
Indeed. Well, it must expand your creativity too,
Yeah.
because then you have to adapt to those other.
Or you could get a job in
constructs.
some other industry and still do your art.
Yeah.
You know, so like when I started editing, I always wanted to be like the total filmmaker. When I was a kid, I was like dreaming, oh, I'm going to be Spielberg someday or something like that. It was like, well, that never happened. But
Well, I think this is more interesting, frankly, what you're
you know, you
doing.
find your own path or whatever. But the thing was, I would like try to do that. It's like reaching for the stars and landing in the clouds. It's still pretty good, but you got to be relentless about it. And
Well, it's pretty great, and you've created your own path, totally, which is fabulous. So
I
it's
think
such
my
a
mom said they broke the mold or something like that.
Thanks, Mom. Now, I know that students have a lot of questions they want to ask you. Let's
Okay.
take a moment to take just a couple of questions, and we have a mic down here, and we have a lot more to talk about, but how about just one or two, and then we'll hop back to continue the conversation. Denzel is here, and Denzel, do you have a question, or does you see you have another here? And then we'll continue to talk about the business of being creative, new technologies, Mitch's book. Okay, we have a question here for you.
Hi.
Question was, is there someone that has inspired you during your whole career?
Yes, I've been inspired by a lot of people. It's funny, I from this, this interview, I'm like realizing you're balancing tech and creative and business and all. And the people that inspired me have those same traits. So I've been inspired by people like, believe it or not, Jerry Lewis, you may have heard of. Okay, he's huge in France, but Jerry Lewis is the total filmmaker. He was a comedian doing the comedy circuit back before probably even TV. He was like a rock star back then, the biggest in the business, making more money than anybody. 40,000 people outside of the Paramount and Broadway where Hard Rock is right now. And it's like, it was crazy. But then he went into Hollywood, and he took over Hollywood. The president of Paramount said, if Jerry Lewis wants to burn down the studio, I'll give him a match. Like, this is how big he was. He was rich, made it huge. And then he started innovating. So he invented video assist, which is where you take the video out of a film camera, because he was the actor, the director, the writer, the producer, the editor. He did all of it. Guys like that really inspire me. Walt Disney was another one. He invented was like a planar camera. It was like 3 stories high, and it was invented to move plates for animation. But he was also a really talented artist, and also worked with his brother as a business partner, and of course created an empire. Guys like that. Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. These guys, probably heard of Lucille Ball. She's like a famous redhead comedian. But what you may not have known was that they were titans in the industry and eventually went on to own, like, being the biggest independent studio in Hollywood. They had like 40 sound stages. They run this huge business. And they invented the techniques that we use today for multi-camera production. I'll get into that in the next talk, but it's people like that are like really innovative and creative that are so inspiring. George Lucas, Steve Jobs, Hedy Lamarr. Did you hear? Hedy Lamarr? Has anybody heard of Hedy Lamarr? Right? There's a doc that just came out. She's amazing. You should check it out. Actually, Dr. Palmer suggested this film to me, and I watched it, and I was blown away. Here's an actress. I think it was in the 40s during the war, and she's a beautiful actress, came to Hollywood, relentless pursuit of the American dream, and in the background, she's inventing a secret code that scrambles frequencies for warships. Okay? Oh my gosh. She got a patent for this thing, and the military started using it, and that patent became the basis of things like Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, iPhones, the internet. Oh my God, it must be worth like $300 billion today, started by somebody with a dream, you know? So those people like get me all fired up. I love biographies. I'm probably just ranting now.
So actually, I want to jump before, we'll come back to more questions, but I want to jump into a couple of things that very dear to me is that you had designed and built our studio, for which we will cut the ribbon momentarily. And you are mentoring other students in the field. So I wanted to ask you why? What do you get from working with students and the mentoring? How is that a part of your creativity and your life?
Okay. What I learned from the students is so valuable. It's like I'm teaching, but I'm learning at the same time. What I learn is a different viewpoint, a fresh perspective. It's like when you go to a creative state, that phase one of creativity, you try to get to kind of like a childlike mind. Now, I'm not saying that high school and college students are childlike, but we should all kind of strive for that childlike state for creativity because it's free of restrictions, right? The childlike mind isn't being chopped off by a rule or something that someone did before them. They're able to dream without the restrictions. And that's what I find in mentoring. And then it inspires me to do more. And I really like what I learned from everybody that I work with.
Yeah, that's
because teaching is learning.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. And you're so enthusiastic, and students get that enthusiasm from you. It's so contagious, and it's a very exciting, productive, creative environment that you create. So I've seen you work very closely with the students in the design of the studio. And I want to ask as well, what entices you about technology? Is there anything in particular?
I just like the gadgets. I like playing with the gadgets. I've always been like a gadget guy. I remember when I was a kid, I used to take an AM radio and like put it under my pillow and listen to music. And one time it fell and broke, and I was like, "Oh, what's this?" And it's all like the chips and stuff in there. And I was like playing, trying to fix it. I just broke it more though. But that kind of sparked the interest in the tech stuff. It was like, oh, it's like Mr. Wizard behind the curtain. And they're just fun toys to play with.
And how do you approach studio design? Let's say, for example, ours, Amunit, which we'll see in a moment.
Yeah, like
how'd you approach it?
It's designed. This studio in particular is designed to be a small footprint studio that can be moved around. So it's a mobile component-based studio with immense capabilities based on computers. So the idea was to build this in a small space, but with enough workstations for as many students to be involved in the production. Because nowadays you can build these systems where one person can run everything. But doing that isn't really good for a classroom situation. So twofold. One was to make as many positions for the crew and also for the teaching. So being able to connect computers to computers to computers and break up all the tasks is phenomenal now because we have this technology called NDI, which is developed by New Tech, and it's the ability to take video and audio and data and power, everything over an Ethernet cable and run it over a network. It's how we're doing this show in here. All these cameras are connected to the network on one port backstage, and it's being brought up in the control room on the other side of the campus. So now like the whole campus is the studio, and all you have to do is bring the cameras in, but the control room can stay there and connect all the computers to do all the graphics and audio, and it's just amazing like what they've done with the technology.
It's brilliant, and it just affords our students so many fantastic opportunities.
And the cost has come down, so it's very affordable now. I mean, when I first started, I had to beg someone to get in the room to teach me stuff, and the room was like almost about half the size of this auditorium, and it cost like $1 million. It was like $800 an hour to get in that room. And the guys are always like burned out. They work 10, 12, 14-hour days, and no one wanted to stay out after work to teach somebody. and plus the room is expensive. Now,
Here you go.
there it is, you know.
So in a moment, we will raffle off a copy of Mitch's book, and I hope you've all got your raffle tickets ready. But let's just take a couple of questions, because I know there were more in line. So hop on down, and it's Ask Mitch time. So ask him anything. Okay. We look forward to hearing it. And then we have Lana Seibel coming back, and she will draw the winning raffle number from a hat. So welcome, Nick. You have a question for Mitch.
Hello, Mitch.
Hey, Nick,
I got an excellent question for you today.
hit me.
What is your most important thing that you like about your job? And also, how inspire others to work hard like you and how influential you are?
Okay. The most exciting thing about my job, I'm going to have to say it's the variety. By being involved in creative and business and tech and the shows, I think the show is the most exciting thing about it. Because when it gets down to it, we're only there because there's something special to do in film, right? So I love the show, the excitement around the show, the camaraderie. I like working with the crews and making a family out of it. It's a really nice place to be.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thanks.
Another
Nick.
question?
All right.
Hi, this has been awesome. I'm John Dilliard, a faculty member here.
Oh, hi, John.
And
Thank
my
you.
question for you, are you doing any work in the metaverse right now?
Yes, actually, I am. I've done a couple of pretty decent projects as we're all kind of experimenting with this. I started off with being the director of a conference called the Real Time Conference, and that connected all of the big manufacturers to talk about the tech. And we did that in the metaverse. So that was the first thing. About 4 months ago, I did a show in London where we connected 5 different cities and 4 different time zones with green screen technology over the network, and that was brought into the London studio, into Unreal Engine, where we brought all people together in one room for a conversation. And in about 3 weeks, I'm heading to Cannes, and we're doing a special presentation at the Cannes Film Festival that's going to have avatar versions of celebrities in real time in the metaverse, and they're going to be using facial recognition to control their own avatars. Wow. And so these are like new opportunities that have been coming up, and it's really exciting to me because it's more toys and more fun. Yeah. Also, I got to admit, the tech is hard and frustrating, and not everybody is acceptable of the restraints that come with it, but I guess restraints are good because it gets you going. Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. One more anyway, and then we'll move right into the raffle.
Hi, Mitch. It's Keanu. So
Hi, Keanu.
I wanted to say earlier I really listened to the part how you make short films and all, but because I wish I had diagnosed when I was younger. But I wanted to say this. Have you how is it like to work in I don't know if you've done filming before, but what is it like to work in to make movies and all, like little short films or any stuff?
So the great thing about short films is that you can hone your craft. And now there's no excuse not to do it because you can make them on your iPhone and the quality is amazing. You can do all kinds of stuff in the editing process to make it look however you want. And it really all comes down to the story. And a short project is perfect for that because it's not going to take a whole year of your time. You can work it around it between classes or whatever. And it helps you to understand every single aspect of filmmaking by doing it. Even if it's just using your iPhone, you still have to plan it, you still have to shoot it, you still have to organize it and edit it and finish it and color it and get it on YouTube or wherever. So it's a great way to practice your craft and develop your skills. And it's fun. Thanks.
Mitch, I know so many people want to continue the conversation with you, and I want to mention to the audience that Mitch will be returning in the fall in his next talk in our series of First Take, our talks with media professionals, to give a Terrier talk, which he has entitled The Future of Multi-Camera History. And so what has begun here in this conversation can be extended much more fully into the fall. And stay tuned for that. But I want to, at this point, ask Lana Seibel to step out on stage as I introduce the book, or ask Mitch to say a few words about the book that he has written called Mastering Multi-Camera Techniques from Pre-Production to Editing and Deliverables by Focal Press. It is astounding. So could you give us a few words on that, Mitch?
It's basically a love letter, but it's 500 pages. My grandmother gave the best review for this. She said, "Oh, it's heavy." Yeah, it's a love letter to the industry. Basically, I wanted to write a book about the process of multi-camera shooting and editing, because these jobs I was doing with these big jobs, I needed help. And I was trying to find assistants that could come in and sync footage or organize things for me. And it was really hard to find people that were experienced. So I realized I would have to train somebody. And I looked for other books that were out there on the subject to maybe pass along, and there was nothing out there. So I thought, well, there should be. And I kind of just filed that away. But when I ended up hiring somebody, I asked my assistant to help me write down everything, all the process, so we had notes as we went along as to how it worked, so that if there was a book down the road, we would have the outline for it at least. Because a lot of projects end up in the file cabinet and never see the light of day. I didn't know if this would be anything or not, but we started doing our homework on it, and it was in the file cabinet for a while. And I ended up at this conference down in Mexico, and I was at this bar afterwards with all the presenters, and they were talking about it turned out I was at this bar, at this table where everybody at the table was an author. And the conversation went like this: well, my book this, and my book that, and my book this. And finally I said, guys, I'm leaving. I can't take it. One more my book and I'm out of here, right? And they're like, well, let's see you write a book, And it was kind of like, okay, I'll write it. Give me your publisher's name right now. It was late and I was tired. And so it became a dare and a challenge. But I had this idea in the drawer, right? So I pulled the idea out with the number, and I called the publisher, pitched them the idea of the multicam book, and they bought it on the phone if I could deliver a treatment, right? And part of the treatment involved having 20 angles of Paul McCartney's Band on the Run on a DVD in the book, so that the people that were going through the work could actually do the work. And I was like, sure, yeah, no problem. Of course, I had to license that from Paul McCartney in order to do it. And it turned out he was willing. And I also got Elton John to license some footage and put that on the DVD. And the next thing you know, I'm writing a book. Now, it seems really easy to get that, but that was the easy part. The hard part was writing it. It was crazy. It was like doing a feature film. It took like 2 years.
Mitch, it's been such a pleasure talking to you. I'm sure it has been for our audience as well. Big round of applause for the one and the only Mitch Jacobson. Bravo. And now the moment for the raffle has come. Have your tickets ready? Whoa. And Mitch will autograph this copy of this book for you. Congratulations. And while that's underway, I'll just let you know what's coming up, which is we are about to cut the ribbon on our new studio. And so we will In a moment, Mitch and I will make our way to the studio, and you'll see it here. And, you know, this is live streamed, and our students are in the control room and in the studio, and they'll bring it all to you. And after the ribbon cutting, a little tour of what we have there, and then some remarks from some really distinguished guests we have here today. So thank you very much, and many thanks again to Mitch Jacobson and our inaugural First Take Talk with Media Professionals.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mitch. I first want to let you know that the students have been working in this new studio, which we just began constructing in mid-January, the very first day of the semester. And we have a marvelous group called Terrier TV, very well known on campus because they're very productive and talented. And we are here to present to you the initial episode of Terrier TV, 5 minutes of it, that we did from our new studio. So that's going to run for you now while we make our way over, and we'll see you in a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, Terrier TV.
On this report, we take a deep dive into the newly constructed television studio, plus an exclusive look into this year's Dr. Frank Green Honors Lecture. I'm Alex Savage-Prodich. This is Terrier News. Thank you very much for joining us. We begin with our top story. After a few months of preparation and construction, St. Francis College once again has a television studio. Since the start of the semester, tireless work has been put in to create a state-of-the-art television studio located in the Marketing and Communications office on the 5th floor. The launch comes fresh off the revamp of the Communication Arts Department into Media and Communications. For more on the new television studio, we caught up with Professor Kit Fitzgerald, who is excited about what's to come.
Our new studio has all the latest professional tools for students to learn on. I am so happy that we've accomplished our goal of creating this space, and we all look forward to making great work together here.
Switching gears now, the Dr. Frank Green Honors Lecture is held annually by the SFC Honors Program in honor of the leader of the program. This year we heard from Dr. Philip Alston, the John Norton Pomeroy Professor of Law at NYU School of Law. Our very own Sonny Faustino is at the site where the lecture took place. Sonny, what could you tell us about the lecture?
Alex, the lecture was entitled The Criminalization of Human Rights. Students, faculty, and staff who sat at this very own auditorium were enamored by the words spoken by Dr. Alston. The prestigious Dr. Frank Green Honors Lecture is held yearly in honor of the former SFC professor who led the honors program for many years. The SFC Honors Program had the honor of welcoming Dr. Philip Alston to present the 2023 lecture on Thursday, February 9. Dr. Alston is a John Norton Pomeroy Professor of Law at NYU School of Law. On top of teaching at institutions such as Harvard Law, Australian National University, and European University Institute, he held numerous positions in the UN, including Human Rights Council Special Rapporteur on extreme poverty and human rights.
We are moving from a broad conception of what the human rights are that we need to uphold and promote, to a much narrower range of rights that are being prioritized. And we're doing that primarily through the lens of criminalization.
The theme of this year's lecture was human rights, and Dr. Alston's speech focused on the problems of human rights institutions having an increasing amount of focus put towards criminalization. In front of a packed auditorium, he offered his solution to this issue, while opening the floor to student questions.
You can't just have economic and social rights and have a decent life. You absolutely have to have freedom along with that. But the point is that we have to start with the vision of a balanced approach to human rights.
And if you weren't able to attend the in-person event, the recording will be posted in a few days. This is Sunny Faustino reporting from the 5th floor. Back to the studio.
Thank you, Sonny. Now we take it over to John D'Amico with a preview of Terry Sports for this week. And John, I hear things are heating up in downtown Brooklyn.
Well, that would be quite the understatement for our Terriers, as this spring semester has been quite successful for St. Francis College sports. We begin with women's basketball, as senior day is approaching. Be part of the festivities this Saturday, February 25th at 1 p.m. to see the Terriers take on the Farley Dickinson. This Saturday is also Athletic Alumni Day. Reconnect with your fellow Terriers. Registration is $40 or $30 for those who are members of the graduating classes of 2013 through 2022. Men's and women's swimming will compete in the Northeast Conference Championships starting Tuesday the 21st. We will wish them best of luck. Finally, this Sunday, both our tennis teams will take the court. The men's team will take on New Jersey Institute of Technology, while the women's go toe-to-toe with Fordham. That's all I have for sports. It's going to be a big week for our Terriers. Back to you, Alex.
Thank you, John. And that's going to do it for Terrier News. If you are part of a club or organization you would like to be highlighted, please email sfcterrortv@gmail.com. On behalf of Terrier TV, I'm Alex Garbage-Kodich, signing off. Have a great week, Terriers.
We're so proud of Terrier TV and the work that they do. I'm Dr. Augusta Palmer, because I think some of you have come in since I went backstage. I got to introduce the first part of this program, which is very exciting, our inaugural First Take talk with Kit Fitzgerald and Professor Mitch Jacobson. Now we are moving into, you can see, the TV studio ribbon cutting. This room kind of is a TV studio right now, right? You can see that. But the control room is just a few steps away. So by the power of television and technology, we're going to be in there in a second, or a few seconds, I guess, actually. But it's taken so many people to put this project together, so I really wanted to thank a few people. So I'm going to start by thanking Senator Andrew Gennardis and former Assemblyman Pete Abate, both of whom supported this project, and we're just so grateful for that. And to the wonderful Ali Scott, who helps with those relationships and is in contact with those folks, and we appreciate her work so much. The administration of the college has been really amazing in supporting this project and pushing it forward. So President Cesare, Maureen Lawrence, our CFO, who I was calling like on New Year's Eve, I think, for some help with a part of this project, and she picked up the phone and talked to me, so I really appreciate that. The incredible Lauren Bertolotti, who works up in that office. You can applaud for everybody, but especially for Lauren, who works so hard to get this project off the ground. We really appreciate it. And, of course, Dean Lancaster, Dr. Jennifer Lancaster, who's here and who's going to come up and say a few words. And Dr. Lancaster is our academic dean, and also she is our VP of Academic Affairs. She gets everything done. And I'm just so appreciative of her support on this project. And I'll be back to thank many more people, many more times. But thanks, Dr. Lancaster.
Thank you. So hopefully we won't overlap too much because I have a few folks to thank as well. So if you get double thanked, then I guess that's okay, right? Double thanks is
You
better
missed
than
that
no
with the
thanks.
iPhones, right?
So you know how they say it takes a village to raise a child? How many people have
Over here
heard
to
that?
your right, to your
Students,
right.
how many people have heard that? Well, it turns out it also takes a village to raise a TV studio. And lots of people worked on this for lots and lots of time. It feels like it just started in the middle of January, as Professor Fitzgerald said, and that's when it really got going, and we spent all the hours on it. When I say we, it wasn't me so much, but there were other people who spent lots and lots of hours well into the evening to get this going. So it's my pleasure to introduce gratitude for several folks who have been involved with this project from the beginning. And it turns out that there's a lot of things that a psychologist, which is what I am, doesn't know about a TV studio. Like these cameras, while mobile, aren't exactly mobile. And that a TV studio, while it can be mobile, like you're going to see today, I think, in real time in just a few seconds, the control room and those types of things are very much stationary. And it kind of was an education for a lot of us as we investigated and researched and scrapped and looked for money to do these kinds of things and to get this studio off the ground. So let me just take a second to thank a few folks. Of course, my fellow administrators, your support and guidance in this process was very helpful. I also want to thank the St. Francis College IT department. Give a round of applause to those guys. I can't tell you that I teared up a little bit watching everything in this room work. It's been a while since the screen came down and the lights were able to go off and on and the sound worked and all of that stuff. And a lot of people had to put a lot of hours in to make that happen, so I certainly appreciate that. Our Franciscan Fellow and first take guest, Mitch Jacobson. Thank you, Mitch, for all your hard work there. Mitch designed the studio and was instrumental in all of the purchasing and setting up of that process. And he had a lot of help from Professor Kit Fitzgerald and, of course, the chairman of Media and Communications, Dr. Augusta Palmer. But there's a few other people, just real quick. Obviously, the rest, I think my phone is trying to find... My watch is trying to find my phone again for some reason. There are a few other people to thank as well. The rest of the faculty in the Media and Communications Department. I see Dr. Brian Gregory here, Martina Carrolls, Scott Weiss, all the Media and Communication faculty. Did I miss somebody? I feel like I might have. That helped with this process, so please give them a round of applause. And perhaps most importantly, St. Francis College students, past and present. Woo! There we go. All right. So I'd like to thank current students, Anthony Cerulli, Brandon, Michaela, Katerina, who are involved today, at least in the front of the house. I imagine that there are lots of students whose names I don't know who are in the back of the house. That's a new term I learned as well. And over there in the TV studio just a few steps away. So thank you, current SFC students. And thank you also to past SFC students, like our own Lauren Bertolotti, our distinguished guest, Sade Fabletta, and Phil Tate. Thank you all for joining us today. And it always is proud, we are always proud to honor our current and future Terriers. This TV studio is just a small part of what makes St. Francis College special. And St. Francis College has always been committed to providing the best possible experiences for students across majors. And today's opening of the TV studio is just another example of St. Francis providing opportunities for our students to dream, to serve, and to achieve. So welcome, thank you, and enjoy the show.
Find fascinating is like the young people I'm working with kind of grew up.
Thank you, Dr. Lancaster. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for thanking so many people, many of whom are on my list to thank as well. But right now, we got something much more exciting than thanking people. We've got our whole crew here. Mitch and Kit, thank you so much for being here. President Cesare, Anthony Cerulli, our IT team, Matt and Jason. We got Sal Basilone there. He's kind of on a stick because he's at NAB in Las Vegas, and he wishes he could be here with us, but he was working with our students all the time. So Anthony and Brandon Luna, and there's so many people more that I will recognize in the control room after this, but I'm handing it over to you. Yeah, cut the ribbon. Let's do it. I feel like Philo T. Farnsworth here. Like, it's really.
Just don't run with them. Yeah, right. Oh. Hello.
Do it. Yeah,
How's it
just
going,
do it,
everyone?
Anthony.
I feel like you all look so small from up here. Wow. My name is Anthony Cerulli. I am the president of SFC-TV, and I'm also the director of this First Take production. On behalf of everyone in the cast and crew, I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to be with us here today. I don't want to take up too much of your time because I know you want to see me cut something with this big pair of scissors that they have trusted me with. But I do just want to say thank you so much to everyone who was a part of this. Of course, Professor Fitzgerald, Mitch Jacobson, Dr. Augusta Palmer, and everyone on the crew. Like, we were so excited to do this. We were very nervous, but I would say that we were able to pull this off. And just some other thank yous I want to send to also everyone in the Marcom office, Maria and the team, for being our roommates and dealing with our shenanigans from time to time. And there are just so many amazing people a part of Terrier TV that I hope that you get to know and learn about in the coming months and years of Terrier TV. And definitely watch out for us soon, because we're going to have a lot of great content, especially next year. So I was going to have a big QR code to subscribe to our channel, but you can find us on SFC Terrier TV and subscribe to us on YouTube. So thank you so much for this opportunity. Anyone else want to? I think we're ready. This is it. All right. This is your photo op moment for all my wrestling fans. I feel like Brutus the Barber Beefcake with these big scissors. All right, well, here we go. Big moment here. Let's do a countdown in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yay! Welcome to the studio. Congratulations. Thank you.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Now go make some stuff.
Let's go make some stuff.
Thank you, everyone, so much. Is Mitch going to say a word for us?
Yes. Hold that thought, because we have some people that, we want to show you a little bit more of the inner workings of the studio. So if you just follow us, we'll take you through all the magic.
We're going to follow them into the control room. Here we have Bartek Zielinski. A very large pair of scissors. Anthony Cerulli, Mitch Jacobson.
Oh, we're up here?
Yeah, we're up there.
Yep.
Hey, everyone. I want to say welcome to the control room, and it's opening day. And this is my good friend Sal Balcione, who is my engineering partner. We designed and built this studio for SFC-TV. Give you a quick tour. Over here, if you can see, there's a rack, and this has got all of our engineering in it, and a control surface. This is where all the magic happens, bringing all of the cameras, audio, and graphics together, as well as a director's workstation over here that Anthony's sitting at. He can see the cameras and all the elements and call the shots. There are computers that are also connected along the way, and PTZ workstation right here. And are we moving the camera? No, we're not moving the camera. Okay, so we're not moving the camera, but there's more stuff on the other side that has to do with audio. And one of the great things about this studio is that it's designed to have a small footprint where you can do things in a small room with a nice group of people, or all by yourself, to control immense capabilities. Right? There's automation. We're using the networking The whole campus is our studio now. We can go and plug cameras in anywhere in the building and make that the studio. And it all comes back into this room through that rack and gives us the capabilities of making shows that used to take big trucks full of gear. So the new tech TriCaster is the tool of the trade, and what's great is that the students here get a chance to learn on the same equipment that we use on professional programs, and therefore get jobs when they get out. And that's the main thing. So, anything else you want to say about the studio?
I just want to say, like, I know a lot of students have made that transition from Remsen to Livingston, and I remember one of the biggest things that was my huge worry was, where's going to be the TV studio? I have no idea where the TV studio is, and I was ready to get so worked up about it before the plans actually came into play. And once Mitch came in and Kit Fitzgerald and everyone started laying the foundation of what this studio, this multicam studio, really panned out to be, it really shows you the capabilities of what we as students are able to make and do all this amazing type of stuff. And I just don't think that that would be possible without so much amazing work from St. Francis College that they put in to make this a possibility.
Well, congratulations and good luck. I hope you make great content.
Okay, I mean, it was kind of my dream to make that happen, so I'm really happy that we could beam them in here. They're only steps away, but it's kind of a small space to have all of us go over there, so it was easier to have them over there and us over here, and I'm just really thrilled that they were able to make that happen. And this is all being streamed live, which is really exciting right now as we speak. I'm actually wondering if I could ask you, as they're coming back from the TV studio, could folks come forward into this area so our guests for the second half of the program can see you? I'm really very excited to have students from the Brooklyn STEAM Center here, so welcome. Give them a big round of applause, SFC students and faculty. Yeah, I mean, if you guys could come down here, totally putting you on the spot, terrible. But I would really appreciate it so we have some shots where people can actually see how many people are here. And all of you guys in the back, just come on down, come on down. I feel like I'm on The Price is Right, which really dates me. But I'm so happy that we just got to see that beamed in here. And I have quite a few people to thank. I think we're going to have a slideshow coming up of students working in the studio. And so I'm going to recognize the individual students by name then. But other people that I want to thank, a lot of them were all the comm faculty, who I also see filtering in. And I'm really thrilled that they're all here. And we have so many alumni here. Phil Tate, Carl Coulangis, Sade Falabita are all going to be speaking. And we got other folks here too as well. Kepler Auguste, I see, is hugging our faculty member, Michelle Stevens. So it's really a wonderful day, and I really appreciate you guys coming down further. Thank you very much. I also need to thank our partners at B&H. Yelena Kataeva is here. Where are you, Yelena? Thought I saw her. She is here somewhere. Maybe she escaped for a minute. But B&H, Steve Manella, and Yelena have been great partners to us in putting this together. We really, really appreciate all their help. Of course, Kit and Mitch and Sal Basilone were amazing. And Sal is actually much more interactive than that guy on the stick we just saw from the TV studio. Our IT team, Jason Whitaker and Matt Hogan, who you saw in the studio, have to thank them so much. Really have to thank facilities, Denise Vianney, who's not here today, but Kevin O'Rourke. Can everybody give Kevin O'Rourke a big round of applause because he has worked tirelessly on this. This event started being managed by David Lautfi, but he has moved on to a new position, and we're so lucky to have Ruben Gonzalez here. And yay, Ruben. And helping us with this, and Ali Brossier has been helping out too, so much appreciation. I know they've already been thanked, but I don't think you could quite see when we were in the TV studio, but we're sharing that with our Marcom department. That's our PR department. And so they have welcomed us and occasional shenanigans, I think Anthony Cerulli was saying. So, and this show has been put on with the help of COM faculty like Brian Gregory and Dr. Martina Carls was attending a chairs meeting earlier for me so I could be here backstage and on stage, so I really appreciate their help. The student crew, you can see some of them in the room, but you can see a lot more people in these pictures coming up. The students were participating from the moment the boxes arrived on site and even before that and talking to us. So I just want to thank Anthony Cerulli, Bartek Zielinski, who you saw in the control room, Brandon Luna, Juan Marin Luna, Anna Von Goodman, who is right here in the front row, ably stage managing this. Let's see, where was I in my list? Denzel Rogers, Jason Samuels, Christian Samuel, Sarah Leondo, and let's see, Brandon Gonzalez, Eduardo Garibaldi, Thomas Malone, Sydney Valoy, Anthony Amarato, who I've seen carrying things on and off stage. Who else? Who am I forgetting? Julia Porcu, Nick Rakos, Michaela Russo-Green, who's been like front and back of house. You'll see her introducing our amazing guest, Lisa Russell, who's here today. And of course, I have to thank also Antonio Connolly, who manages all the tech in our department, which is such a huge job, and he has been working very hard on this whole project. So please give that long list of people a big round of applause. So you can see more students here. There's Anna and Michaela. And we're going to bring Professor Kit Fitzgerald back on. Is she ready to come out to the front of the house? I don't have one of those headphones. Okay, so she's not ready. So let me talk a little bit more about this whole event and all these folks. I'll give you a little preview of coming attractions, because we have some amazing guests who are going to come and talk to us. We have Phil Tate from the Phil Tate Show and News 12, but I still remember the Phil Tate Show. And someone who taught Phil Tate, Carl Coulangis, is right here. Yes, and they're both alums of the college. We have, and Carl is a professor at Suffolk County Community College, a professor of film now. And we have Lisa Russell sitting next to Carl, and Lisa there's so many Renaissance people involved with this project, and she's another one. She is the programmer of a film festival called the Women Deliver Film Festival, which is a conference of NGOs that work in women's issues and getting the word out about that. So she's been running that festival for quite a few years now. And she also started something called Create 2030, which is an amazing program that pairs up artists and creatives with UN sustainability goals and people from the UN in order to get news out about those important issues. And also, she is working on Arts Envoy, which she just launched. And the other part of sustainability is she wants artists to get paid for what they do. So all of you aspiring creatives in this room, I think you can appreciate that. And we have Sade Falabita, who is another alum. And people can clap. Yeah, come on. Yeah. You'll hear more about her later, but she's the managing director of SFC-TV, which is a really amazing production house and community media center in Chinatown. And she is also a graduate of the college, and we're always so happy to have her back in our space. All right, so I am now going to introduce Professor Kit Fitzgerald to talk to you a little bit more. Oh, I thought I got the go-ahead. Yes? Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Palmer. Thank you all for being here. For those of you who don't know, Dr. Augusta Palmer is an accomplished filmmaker, and it was she who spearheaded this project, knowing the right time to intercede and advocate, also knowing when to step back and let people do the work. So thank you so much for your confidence in us and for your vision. As well, I personally want to thank Mitch Jacobson for his design, his execution, his dedication, and his unrelenting professionalism. He has served as a remarkable role model for our students. Thank you to President Cesare and Dean Lancaster for your support. Without you, this would not have been possible. As you have seen, we have a new multicam studio and control room with a powerful tool, the TriCaster. And today is the first time it's being used from the auditorium at St. Francis College. This is our very first show. Welcome. Media production, yes, media production is the quill and the ink with which today's history is being written. With TriCaster, we scribe the truths of the present and our hopes for the future. We are writing history. TriCaster is an apt name as it casts in three directions: past, present, and future. With regards to the past, we're honored to have distinguished alumni among us who will address us in a few moments. The present, we share this present moment. We are so fortunate to be able to gather together in this space. Virtually and in person, we are here in celebration. Television means to see far, and streaming expands our audience exponentially. We send greetings to you wherever you are. The future. To our students, you are the future. As teachers and mentors, we are here to help you navigate unknown terrains and to create the media of tomorrow. The world is leaving the broadcast era, the era of large studio cameras when content could be seen only once and at a specific time. That is over. It is now the era of streaming with small robotic cameras where content can be asynchronous and repeatable. This poses new challenges and opportunities for those of us in media. And with our new studio facility, we can meet these challenges and help write the new televisual language. It is a personal mission of mine to bring the humanness to the technological tools we use. It is at the heart of what I do as an educator, an artist, and a director. It is theoretical and it is practical. It's the stories we tell and how we tell them. And it has to do with such simple but important details as how you turn a knob or move a fader or how you frame a shot. It has to do with the tone of voice, the lighting, sound design, what the person on camera is doing with their eyes. It has to do with transitions and cuts. These are all part of our televisual vocabulary. And as technology evolves, so will our vocabulary, and our cognitive skills will be altered. These changes are happening at warp speed. Even so, we cannot lose sight of our humanness in this process. Over the past few months, we've been reading a lot about artificial intelligence. We've come to realize that we have already been living with it in ways that recently seemed like science fiction. AI adds another layer of urgency to our desire to stay on top of technological development and to be mindful of what it means to be human. So, in addition to learning production language, aesthetics, and tools, our students are learning how to approach what they see and hear critically. They learn to ask questions and to seek the truth. Critical thinking is always important, but it is even now more urgent because of the volume of misinformation, disinformation, and AI in the system. but I believe that media can, in fact, bring us together and be a tool for the common good. We have right here the tools with which to create the media landscape of the future. And in so doing, we can help create a better world. Today is our inaugural event. It belongs to all of us. With our new quill and ink as scribes and as witnesses, we write history, share stories, and move boldly ahead. And we look forward to creating more great work together. So stay tuned for more First Takes with media professionals, SFC Live, Terrier TV, and new productions we have yet to imagine. Thank you so very much.
Hello, can you hear? There we go. Hello, thank you everybody for coming. First of all, can we get another round of applause for our president of SFC Terrier TV, Anthony Cerulli, who has been our spearhead of communicating with us towards this new studio and making sure all students were feeling calm. So thank you to Anthony. I'm here to talk about somebody who has made an impact on my journey here at St. Francis College. So, let me start by saying who I am. Wouldn't that be good? So I'm Katerina. I'm a senior here at St. Francis College, and I'm in the comm department. So I will be introducing David Cummings. David Cummings is a veteran journalist and media executive who covered professional and college sports for the New York Daily News and Miami Herald before serving as an executive editor at The Source Sports. Cummings also served as a senior deputy editor at ESPN, the magazine, and helms the race and culture unit at CBS Sports. Sadly, David Cummings couldn't be here with us today, but he did send a message. I apologize for my absence today. I have the fortune of being able to attend my daughter's induction into a prestigious program at her college tomorrow evening. That said, since I have been working with St. Francis, I have found the students to be professional, eager to learn, and prepared with the skills to succeed. This is a testament to the professors and the college leadership. I look forward to continuing working with the students and providing access and exposure to the vast opportunities in the field of communications. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michaela Russo-Green, and I am a junior majoring in communications digital media here at St. Francis College. Today, I will be introducing Lisa Russell. Lisa Russell is an Emmy Award-winning filmmaker, programmer of the Women Deliver Film Festival, and founder of Create 2030, a growing network of professional, working-class, and diverse artists using their talents to help accelerate progress of the United Nations SDGs. Please welcome Ms. Lisa Russell.
Thank you so much. Greetings, everyone. How is everyone? Good, good, good. Well, thank you so much for having me, and a big congratulations. This is super exciting. It's making me wish I actually went to film school, which I didn't. But I'm very honored to be here. I just wanted to say a few words, but I wanted to start with one of my favorite quotes, which is by Khalil Gibran, which is, "It is said that next to thirst and hunger, our greatest need is for storytelling." And I come from storytelling from a very different kind of roundabout way. I started my career working in a war zone, and it was there that I got introduced to sort of how narratives could be told in a very harmful way. Women that were affected by war in the places that I was working were really upset with journalists who were determined to tell this one-dimensional storyline about women being used as a tool of rape. And it really put in the idea to me that storytellers are really important, and there's a lot of power, and with that, a lot of responsibility in being a storyteller. I work in the United Nations. I'm a contracted filmmaker, and I approach my filmmaking and my storytelling with the idea that arts and storytelling can actually change the world. So whether it is about climate change or gender equality or health or education, this is sort of where I put my focus on, and where I encourage you, no matter what sort of storyteller you are going to become, whether you do comedy or drama, screenwriting, or documentaries, that you approach your craft in a way where you realize that there is a sort of, like I said, power and responsibility in the work that you do. I hope to have some more time here at St. Francis in the future. I've been a big fan. I've worked with Augusta and Richard prior to that, and I really love the school. I love the mission. I love the approach, and hoping that at some point I can also maybe encourage you all as storytellers or artists to maybe pursue a career focusing on using your storytelling skills to impact the world, as I have done for the last 20 years. So I think that's all I'm going to say, but I just wanted to say again, congratulations. I really do have like FOMO. I live in Kenya now. I got stuck there during COVID, so I'm not in Brooklyn as much, but I'm watching all of this being like, I'm just so envious. So good luck to everybody, and thank you so much for having me, and I'm excited to see what you all produce in the future. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. I am Brandon Gonzalez. I'm a junior here at St. Francis College studying communications, and I'm here to introduce Sade Falabita. So she is an alumni of SFC and the Columbia School of Journalism. She is the managing director of Manhattan's DC-TV, which is home to the new Firehouse Cinema, and makes award-winning documentary content for HBO and Netflix. And continues to serve the community. Oh my God, I am like so nervous because I hate public speaking, but it's okay. We're here, we're doing it. Okay, so yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. So DC-TV continues to serve the community with media training programs like Pro TV, which Miss Falabita joined as a high school student. But yeah, now big round of applause for Miss Favalita. And yeah.
That was so bad. Oh my God.
It's so nerve-wracking to walk from back there and just walk up. Good afternoon, and congratulations on SFC's new TV studio. It's really just an honor to be here with you all today, just celebrating the future of SFC Communications, the colleges as a whole, but also taking the time to just reflect on my past experience here as well. Like, it's really crazy to think that just a little over a decade ago, I had senioritis and was considering what my career would look like. And now, like, I'm managing director of a media arts organization. It's not something I envisioned, but wow, like this is where I am now. And it really made me reflect on my experiences here that really supported me in my journey. And two things that were really key for me was, one, maximizing opportunities, and two, just having a community of people who believed in and supported me. And just first coming into SFC, may he rest in peace, Brother George, but he's the first person who believed in me enough to accept me to the college. And that was really special. And just communications related, I had a news writing professor who had the bright idea of just offering me an opportunity to run the school newspaper. So I said, you know what, I haven't done this, but let me try. Let me maximize the opportunity, because sometimes we come into college thinking like, it's just like every other grade, we're just passing through. But really, it is an opportunity for us to be able to build our portfolio, to grow, to really practice the things that are going to support us in moving forward. And just being editor-in-chief of the paper, I had an opportunity to understand how to build a team, how to lead a team, how to meet deadlines, so many things, how to keep a pulse on what was happening in the SFC community by getting to know my peers, by writing stories about them. It was just such a great way to meet new people, to understand who my peers were, and it just really made a difference than me just coming in class and leaving. It was doing something else that really pushed me further and helped me to build a skill set. Mitch had mentioned earlier, he was just saying that having a safe place to think and to dream and having a place to fail means a lot, right? And SFC was that place for me where I got to really try new things in a safe space. And I just really want to encourage the students here to really maximize this opportunity. Like this TV studio, yes, it has great fancy equipment, but you are what makes it something. You are the people who are going to be bringing stories to life. You are the ones that will really make it what it is. This is a seed for something bigger. And this is an opportunity for you to be able to use now and not just wait till you graduate. Like, when I graduate, I'll be professional. No, you can be professional right now, right here. Like, this is what it takes. It's funny seeing Carl today because he has his sports show, but I remember when the guys used to be in the hallway debating about sports, like for hours, just standing there, just debating with each other about the game, but all these things. And seeing how that can translate, right, into like that friendly debate, not so friendly sometimes, but seeing how that translates into a show is really interesting, right? Like, I just want you to remember that you are professional now. Like, this is a seed for your growth, for your professional growth. Like, years later, you can look back at something that you made here and created here and take it seriously enough to be able to move forward in a way that you haven't even imagined. So I wanted to remind you of that. And one of the things that was really special to me here was having people who support and believe in me. And I say support and believe instead of in past tense because they still do and play a huge role in my success and where I am today. And I can't name everybody, but just from Brother George to Mark McSherry, who believed that I could run the paper, to Ruben Gonzalez, who believed that I could, put on different activities and events and do these things. These are the things that are going to carry into your future. So I just encourage you all to really understand, like, you have something powerful at your fingertips here, and it's not made special until you activate that. So what are the stories that you want to tell? Think about it, like brainstorm. This is for you. And I also encourage educators to, also continue to think outside the box and really encourage students, because when you believe in your students, you're doing a lot more when it's not just, this class that I have to get through, but you're really like activating someone in their journey. Is something truly special. It's something that truly makes a difference. So I am so happy to see this growth, but it's gonna come from you as a community, like making it special, making it something, and just planting a seed for future growth. So congratulations to everybody. It's so good to see you all, and thank you. If you want to talk after, I'm here, so.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. I'd like to thank Dr. Palmer for inviting me to come here. I'm a graduate of class of 2008. Seems really old standing up here, but just thank you for being here. And it's just so awesome to see the TV studio and how it's come a long way. I remember being a 18-year-old kid coming into St. Francis and not knowing exactly what I wanted to do or where my career was going to go. And St. Francis really helped me develop into the person that I am today after just still trying to figure that out. And I know some of the students are here still maybe not wondering exactly what they want to do with a media degree or what do you do with a communications degree. but just know that you're in the right place that can help you get that jump start. And I can definitely say, without St. Francis, I am not the man I am here, standing here today in front of you. The professors I came across, Dr. Lynn Jackson, David Gerwitz, Tim Dugan, Dr. Berleth, were all professors that helped me get to where I needed to get to. Even some of my classmates I see here, Lauren sitting in there, we used to be in the TV studio late nights, working, editing nonstop, just being around and always giving that presence of students who cared. And I think for us, and I could see it with the students here, it's passion. Being in this business, it's all about passion. And once you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work. And even Sade could attest to it. Phil, who's back there, Kepler, all of us have that passion and that drive in this business, and I could totally see it among the students here today with the TV studio and beyond. And again, really, what I want to say is just keep doing what you're doing. And a lot of times I feel like, communications really gets glossed over, and it's no disrespect to the other majors, but we are just as important as everything else as far as entertainment. And we clearly saw that during COVID, is how people relied on the Netflix, they relied on the streaming sites, they relied on watching the documentaries and watching TV. That comes from us. That comes from the hard work and the dedication of the camera operators, the technical directors, the PAs, the interns, the social media directors, which people don't realize that is a job now, as being a social media director, handling TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, all of these social platforms. So there's a lot of opportunity, I believe, when it comes to communication. So don't feel short-sighted on it, and keep pushing and keep believing. The other thing is, St. Francis's old motto was the small college of big dreams. It's so true. It's so true. When I came in here, the goal was ESPN, and it's still the goal. So always believe in what you do, always believe in the hard work that you give in, and life will take you in so many different directions, you'll never know where you'll end up. So just keep believing and keep pushing, and I'm so proud to be a St. Francis alum, and I'm so proud to possibly continue working here in the future and seeing what opportunities I have. So thank you so much again for the invite. Really appreciate it. So now I have the esteemed pleasure and honor to introduce Phil Tate. Now, Phil was a student of mine, I believe it was 2013, 2014, when I was teaching advanced television production and basic television production. And I was just having a conversation with him just now, and I said to him, what separated Phil from everybody else is the fact that he wanted it. When you want something so bad, you'll do whatever it takes. And that's what Phil Tate did. Phil Tate graduated in 2016, and by 2017, he was working with Fox, and by 2019, he was on News 12. Give that a round of applause. For me, for Phil to be able to do that, that's just amazing in his journey, and I'm so glad and honored to introduce him. And I give him the nickname The Real Deal, because he is the real deal. Phil Tate.
What's up, everybody? No, I think we could do better than that. What's up, everybody? Oh, man, it feels so good to be back home for sure. Even though we're in a new building, whenever you see those words SFC, a smile always comes to my face, because it's a big part of who I am, where I spent so many hours and so many days just figuring out who I am and what I wanted to bring to this world. You know what they say, you truly find yourself in college, right? I went through all these different majors when I first walked through these doors. Business sounded good. And then it was only until I took this film class with Carl, and I'll never forget it. It was this 3-hour Saturday class, and it was a really snowy day. That was like the first day of class, and I was hoping I was going to get an email that was going to say class was canceled. Sure enough, Carl still had this class on Saturday, and I just remember walking in, and he was just all about business. It was professors like Carl, professors like Michelle Stevens, Laura, who was so assisting to so many students in the comms department that truly added to much of my success here at St. Francis. When I think about my time here at St. Francis, I say, like, what a journey. It was a good 4 years. It was a good 4 years of, like I said, trying to find out who you are, what you wanted to bring to this world, but also deciding on who the person that you wanted to be. When I was here at college, I know that I was very outspoken, had a question for everything, always had an answer for something. I would always go head-to-head with professors on things if I didn't agree with them. But I believe that, when we're in this world, we're not just supposed to take everything for what it is, but we are supposed to question things, and we should always be analytical when we're in spaces like this. just to give a little bit of experience, when I was here at St. Francis, this studio, congratulations to you all. We had a studio at 180 Rumson Street, and that's where I had this first film class. And Carl had us working on so many different jobs in the studio, so to speak. So one day he would have us editing, he would have us on the boards, he would have us working teleprompter, learning how to log, learning how to edit. And you really got a 180 view of what it was like to work in a TV studio. And it was only until I had gotten on camera that Carl had said to me that he thought that I actually had some talent on camera, and he's like, you should definitely take a look into this. And on Saturdays, when everybody was rushing to get out of that 3-hour class, I was like, all right, I think I'm gonna start a little team up, and we're gonna start a show. And at first, I was a little, not confident about it, so to speak. And Carl was like, you just got to go after it. You got to go after it. And so many kids were, running out of class, just going to do what they wanted to do on Saturdays. But I was just so happy to be in a studio where we had all these equipment, these cameras that you guys see. And myself and 2 friends, we got together, created this YouTube channel. I'll be giving guest lists to Lauren and telling her these are the people who are coming up here on Saturdays. And I'll be knocking on her doors, emailing her and nonstop. I think definitely I could be a bit annoying, but I wouldn't say it's annoying. I would say it's good persistence and passion. If I have one message to you all today, it's to be passionate, and then to also realize the power that you all have. When I could say that nothing was given to me, that it's all been a lot of hard work and dedication, and that you can make anything possible. And St. Francis, seeing this great studio that you guys have, being able to work in the control room or to work inside of the studio, you have all this great equipment that's at your hands. And the best piece of advice that I could give to you all is to create. College goes by quick, 4 years, right? And you want to make sure that when you get out of here that you're the most marketable person that you could be for the roles that you're applying for. Pick up a camera, know how to put an SD card in the camera, learn how to shoot, learn how to edit, learn how to troubleshoot, right? These are all things that people are going to ask you to do when you walk out of these doors. Of course, it's all about having fun, but it's also about knowing how to market yourself when you get out of here. Also, just would love to tell you guys that production that you guys had of that newsreel was super, super dope. Really enjoyed that. And I would say continue to create. These are the fundamentals of what you will continue to do as you move on from college, whether it's moving into internship spaces or to even potential jobs. If you want to talk, I'm here. I'm so happy to be back home, and I can't wait to meet you all. Thank you so much.
So I am so happy that you're all here to share this with me. And I think it's so important that we're gathered around the opening of a TV studio, because I think media is one of the ways that we get to know who we are. And right now in the college, I think of the TV studio as one of the jewels in our crown of this new campus, right? But the other jewels in the crown are the students who are here now, who've been working so hard on this production, and the students who came here in the past, and the faculty and our invited guests today. You are all very important. And I think we also, in thinking about the future of St. Francis, we want to incorporate stories about the past, because storytelling has been the main through line, I think, in everyone's remarks today. We're all storytellers. As human beings, we are meaning-making machines, and we make meaning by telling stories, right? And originally, we did that around a fireplace, or, maybe a fire out in the wild. Then we moved into the fireplace. And a little bit further on, in the 1950s, people started to talk about television as the new hearth. And now we have these hearths that we carry with us in our pockets all the time. And we're looking at them to find out who we are and who we're going to be, and who we were in the past is a big part of that. So the fact that we have so many distinguished alumni like Phil Tate and Sade Falabita and Carl Coulanges here with us, that we've had amazing professors here like Professor Mark Ernay, who's a sports journalist with 1010 Wins. He's been teaching all this semester, and I saw him in the audience earlier. All of us are involved in telling the story of St. Francis College, and I think we have a lot to look forward to. and a lot to celebrate from the past. So thank you all for being here. I would love to invite all the special guests, Phil Tate, Carl, Lisa, Sade. Would you guys all come up? Kit Fitzgerald, and we're gonna maybe cut the ribbon again, I think, or just come up here and give yourselves a round of applause, and the audience will give you a round of applause too, and the student crew is gonna come and join us. So give them all a big round of applause as they come on. Thank you so much for being here at this important event. Can I get some of our backstage crew out here with us too? Mitch Jacobson, calling Mitch Jacobson. Where is he? Kit's gonna find him. Come maybe a little bit more into the light. There we go. Yes. Walk into your light. Yes. Yes. Here we go. They're like a whole bunch of little guys back there on bicycles pulling this up. All right, more ribbons. I think I've got 2 there. Okay.
See if we can do this as well as the students did.
Well, we can just hold it up. We don't actually have to cut it. We don't have the requisite training. We haven't, HR hasn't sent us that training yet. Thank you, Mitch, Lisa, Sade, Phil, Carl, Kit.